lot to talk about. This past week, a lot to talk about. Today, the headline is IRS offers bounty. What is going on? Bitcoin millionaires on their rise. That's always good, but there's other news I want to cover. So thanks for tuning in. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I know this week was kind of nasty, right? For crypto, not just this week, last week and this week. Kind of nasty for Bitcoin and crypto, but things are looking a little better today and yesterday. So let's have a lively discussion and let's do this. So as always, make sure you hit the like and subscribe to the channel. And I apologize for that mic issue once again. I'm gonna have to cut that out later after the stream. All right, guys, let's do this. So looking at Bitcoin right now, 10,313. That's not too bad. Definitely better than the 9,900 that we hit not too long ago, as we could see here. The good thing is it utilized the 9,940 as a support. So Bitcoin did. A lot of people were fearing that 9,600, 9,600, 9,600, this futures gap was going to hit. It almost became like a self-fulfilling prophecy because everyone was just hesitant about making any moves and kept waiting for it, and it didn't come. So now Bitcoin has come back up. So kind of doing its thing. Right now, what I'm noticing is Bitcoin is following in the footsteps of the stock market, especially the tech sector, NASDAQ. So this, ever since last week, the stock market, tech has been falling. And Bitcoin has been following with it, right? So right now it's kind of like, Bitcoin's correlating with the tech sector. So, and there's some iffiness over stocks right now, right? People are wondering with the election coming up, with a lot of stuff going on, with COVID still going on. There's places that's enforcing quarantine lockdown again or putting stricter rules. There's just a lot of uncertainty right now. So that's kind of what's going on with Bitcoin. It is holding. It's holding above 10,000. We haven't even gone down to 9,600 yet. It's holding, and it's looking like it wants to move back up. So we'll see what happens this weekend, and also altcoins. Because altcoins, quite honestly, has been really, really, really strong. Really strong. It has dipped along with Bitcoin, but it's coming back up. Pretty well too, and overall BTC Dominance hasn't really moved, so things are looking good, but I guess we'll have to see what happens this weekend and next week. If the stock market continues to be weak, will BTC and altcoins follow, or will it decouple a little bit, or will the stock market rise and Bitcoin get pulled with it? We just have to wait and see. All right, so what's going on around the world or around the crypto sphere? Let's start with this. There are now 17,000 Bitcoin millionaires. That's a lot. That's a lot of millionaires for Bitcoin millionaires. Of course, we know that a lot of people became Bitcoin millionaire or billionaire very early on, but this number is also rising. So it's not like a vast majority of them were from 10 years ago. A lot of this is from 5 years ago, 3 years ago, right? And it is rising. And I used to showcase this a lot, the Bitcoin rich list, right? And you look at this, and you and me and probably most people watching this are like, man, I wish I could become a Bitcoin millionaire, right? But we know Bitcoin is going to go much higher. So whatever amount you may have now could end up making you a millionaire in the future. And if you look at this rich list, this kind of tells you a different story in terms of maybe you hold a small amount, but if you look at the total out there, total number of addresses, total people that's holding Bitcoin, and total number of people out on Earth that just simply has no clue about Bitcoin, you're in like the top 100, top 1% already, maybe even less than that, 0.1 of the top 1%. So look at this. If you own anywhere from 0.001 to 0.01 Bitcoin, you're within the top 51% of all Bitcoin addresses. Okay, and keep in mind, addresses doesn't correlate 1 to 1. There could be one person owning 3 addresses, one person owning 10 addresses, one person owning, I don't know, 100 addresses, right? So I'm just going to estimate maybe it's like a 2-to-1 ratio. So actually the number of addresses, if you cut it in half, that's the number of people. But anyways, 0.01, you're already in the top 50%. If you own 0.01 to 0.1, you're in the top 17%. Actually, I read that wrong. This is actually just calculating the total amount, but this right here, this was actually, you're in the top 24%, and this is the top 17%. So I got that wrong. Sorry, apologize. So yeah, so if you own even 0.1 Bitcoin, you're top 17%. You own 0.1 to 1%, you're at 7%, and if you own 1 plus, you're in 2%. And this is just people that have an address, that own Bitcoin, right? This is not counting the number of people, the 8 billion plus people on Earth that have no clue about Bitcoin or own a Bitcoin. So don't be discouraged. You might look at articles like this and say, hey, I wish I was a millionaire. You know, I'm nowhere close, but who knows? You know, Bitcoin is scarce. Not a lot of people know about it. Some of you guys may think everyone, you know, owns some Bitcoin. No, that's not true at all. So that's why we're in the game. You know, why we hold Bitcoin and hold altcoins, because we're waiting for life-changing wealth. And I think this number of Bitcoin millionaires or just crypto millionaires will go up and go through the roof as time goes on. So I like articles like this. Look, gives me and you guys something to look forward to, right? All right, moving on. This could also be good for Bitcoin. So the U.S. Senate rejects a stimulus package without $1,200 checks. And why is this good for Bitcoin? Yeah, sorry, no, I'm not vacuuming. There's some construction outside that I cannot tell them to stop. So something's going on in my street. So hopefully it's not interrupting too much. But recently, there's been a lot of proposals in Congress in terms of a second stimulus package. So there was a new one they labeled skinny, and it was rejected because this one did not include $300 billion for a second round of stimulus checks. You know, we know first time $1,200, $2,400 for a family. Both Democrats and Republicans want a second round of stimulus checks. So the skinny stimulus bill was just basically rejected. So now they have to go back to the drawing board and come up with another one, basically that includes stimulus checks. So give another round of $1,200 per person, $2,400 per family. And why is that good for Bitcoin? Because a lot of people are saying that they're using, not a lot of people, but some people, including Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, is saying that people who have gotten that $1,200, some of it is going into Bitcoin or Bitcoin buying. So yeah, I don't doubt it, right? You know, some people really need that $1,200, $2,400 stimulus checks. Some people don't need it. And where they go do with it? You know, they go use it to spend on other things. And some people use it to spend on Bitcoin. So look at this graph, right? How it just shot up all of a sudden, right? And Brian Armstrong says that's due to the $1,200 stimulus checks that people got. So if there's another round, it could definitely help Bitcoin because a lot of people may choose to buy Bitcoin with it, right? Keep in mind, since Bitcoin's overall market cap is still relatively small, just a small amount of population in the U.S. that uses their $1,200 or $2,400 to buy Bitcoin could cause it to move up in a big way. So this potentially could be good for Bitcoin. That's coming down the road. But again, Congress has been talking about the second stimulus package for a while now. We'll see what happens with it. It may take a while before this gets approved, before we get the second round of stimulus checks, but we will see. We will see. All right. The Jammer. Jamming Jimmy Jam crypto news. I don't know. I don't know who that is, or if you're Jimmy Jam. Well, if you are, welcome. All right, so those cover Bitcoin. What about the other topic that I started with? How IRS is now offering a bounty. What is that about? Someone from my insider group sent me this, and I'm like, what is going on here? Okay, so now the IRS is so desperate to track transactions, they're offering a $625,000 bounty to anyone that could break Monero and Lightning. So Monero, we know, is a privacy coin, and it is being used for some illegal stuff. It's the main currency being used in the dark web, but there's also people that use it for legitimate, reasons. They just don't want the government to track them, right? And the IRS doesn't like that. So we're not talking about, see, the funny thing about this is like, we're not talking about like the FBI or the CIA or whoever that's really wanting to track maybe, terrorist activity or money laundering activity or whatever. This is the IRS. So to me, the main reason why they want to do this is basically because they want to tax people. That's it. They want to tax people. They realize that there's so many people that have made money from crypto. They want to tax it, which is to me, it's kind of funny. All these other departments, we're talking about like the SEC, and CFTC, and Congress, and everyone else. They all have different definitions of crypto and Bitcoin, and everyone's trying to figure things out and taking their time with it. But no, the IRS is like, screw that. We don't want to wait for any kind of definitive definition or anything. We just want to tax people right away. So they're actually offering a bounty for this. I just think it's funny. I really think it's funny. But good luck. Good luck trying to break Monero and Lightning. But according to this article, there is a company called CipherTrace that claims to have a new tool that can trace Monero transactions. And currently, they're working with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. So, see, that seems like more of a legitimate reason, right? If you want to track the nasty people. But for IRS to simply track to tax, yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be a fan of that. All right, moving on. Binance announces a $100 million fund for devs to build on Binance smart chains. But specifically, CZ wants people to build upon DeFi. And he coined a new term, CeFi. Instead of DeFi, CeFi, because you can't call any financial project that's running on Binance chain DeFi, because it's owned by Binance, right? It started by Binance, and they're a large part of it. So CeFi, I guess, is centralized finance. If it's a centralized finance, it's really just like a bank, right? So I don't know. But, CZ is saying Binance is pro-innovation in the DeFi ecosystem, and we want to find synergy between DeFi and CeFi. So the $100 million fund is really for devs to build DeFi on top of Binance chain and utilize BNB, and they want to be part of it. They don't want to miss out on a DeFi craze. So that's what it's for. 100 million is a lot, but I just think it's funny that CZ is now calling, creating a new term, CeFi. So DeFi is CeFi. We'll see if it works. We'll see if it works. What else is there? Controversial new proposal will forgive /Polkadot Validator. So I recently covered Polkadot is something that I regret not learning about earlier, but they actually held the ICO in 2017. They kind of just disappeared, at least in my eyes. I haven't heard anything about them until recently, right? I wrote I did a video newsletter for my insiders and Patreon members recently. And I looked into Polkadot, and I really like what I see. And I didn't know this, and I don't know if you guys know this, but Polkadot was started by Ethereum co-founder Gavin Wood, which is a very, very, very smart technical guy. He did a lot for Ethereum, and he's the main guy behind Polkadot. Anyways, so according to this, a lot of people are concerned about a dangerous precedent that may happen. So one of the validators that was, that powers the network went offline for about 14 hours. Normally, going offline is not a big deal, but it went offline during a time when other validators went offline due to some kind of bug or something like that. So they took off this validator. All the coins, the stake tokens on the validator has been basically invalidated, and this validator is no longer part of the network. So that's because Polkadot thought that maybe they were doing something malicious, and this is what, this is how they handled it. But there's a clause in their like operating agreement, I guess, operating whatever their constitution, that says that, hey, if they made a mistake, we could bring a validator back online, right? Let's say we were too harsh or something, we could bring them back online. And that's what's being talked about, because it seems like this validator that went offline was due to some technical glitch, not due to some malicious reason. So, but now people are saying, well, if you do that, you bring them back online, it could set a precedent that would be bad for the future. I don't know. I don't know if that's bad or not. So this goes back to, you're damned if you do, if damned if you don't, because there's always going to be two sides of an argument. There's a lot of people in crypto that's like really hardcore. Like, okay, if you get your funds hacked, that's it, right? You should not cry about it. Don't ask for help because you're done, right? And there's other people that say, well, I would like help. I would like to have the network or the wallet or the exchanges, right, to try to help me and recover the funds, right? So half the people would like to have some help. Half the people just say, like, screw it. Like, no, it's the Wild West, right? So that's the case with this. Some people feel like, you know what, it's their own fault. They're off for 14 hours. They should not come back. And some people say, well, it's not their fault, right? So bring them back. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't know what's the right answer, but I do know is Polkadot seems like a legit project, one to watch out for, because they're already here, they're already done, they have all the traction, and they look like a very good project. So just want to make a quick note about that. What else is there? Let's talk about DeFi. Well, before I get to DeFi, let's just look at CMC real quick. So CMC, I mentioned this already. Bitcoin is doing a little better today. Altcoins, we're doing better yesterday and today. But overall, BTC Dominance 56.8%, which means that everything is kind of still moving with each other, which is not bad, because usually, historically, when you have Bitcoin fall in a drastic way, you see altcoins just tank like a rock in the ocean or something, right? And then BTC Dominance jumps up to the moon and then slowly comes back. But this time around, when BTC came down from 12,000, 11,000 down to 10,300 where we are now, kind of everything fell around the same level. That's why BTC Dominance really didn't go up. So it kind of shows you that the strength of altcoins is here. It could be because of DeFi that's helping with this, because you have a lot of ETH, a lot of tokens that's staked. So that could be the reason. But right now, I'm really quite impressed in terms of how strong altcoins have been in terms of just holding with Bitcoin. But if you look at this list today, kind of mixed bag. A little bit red, a little bit green. Yesterday it was mostly green. So a lot of these altcoins have started coming back up. Obviously didn't make up for the losses from the last few days, this week and last week, but it's looking like it wants to come up. And going to DeFi, DeFi Pulse, you could see, yeah, it is recovering in a big way. So DeFi, the total locked-in value fell down to about 6 billion from a high of 9.6 billion. That's quite a big drop, right? That's quite a big drop. But after hitting a bottom of 6.1 billion, now it's coming back up, and it shows you the strength of DeFi, shows you the strength of altcoins, and this is very, very positive for the whole crypto sphere, right? So like Uniswap dropped dramatically. Uniswap was at number one with 1 point something billion, and it dropped to only 700 million. So yeah, these projects do swing quite a bit. All right, and then lastly, I want to talk about SushiSwap. So this is on the front page of CoinDesk, right? SushiSwap is the latest, or one of the biggest, and one of the latest DeFi projects out there that competes with Uniswap. So they're actually like a DEX. Unlike a lot of these other ones that are just pure yield farming and they're all just like pump and dumps. You can argue SushiSwap a pump and dump, but this article is interviewing one of the three main guys. So this project was started by three guys. Two guys left, and there's one guy left. He's just the main developer, and basically the interview was asking him, why did you join the project? What do you like about it? What are your plans? And did you see why the Chef Nomi, or Chief, no, it's Chef Nomi, the main guy, why he sold his tokens, and did you know about it and stuff like that? Quite interesting. Basically, he did not know about it, and he thinks that the guy and the other guy basically were in it to make a quick buck now. He even admits it, that they just want to make a quick buck. They basically just copied the code from Uniswap and Yam and created a SushiSwap for a quick buck. They did. However, the founder did give up his admin keys or admin rights to the new CEO, FTX CEO Sam, and he's the one that's leading the way. And this guy, I think call him Mackie, is still developing. So we'll see if SushiSwap can still continue forward. What I liked about them at first is not because of their name, but because their total locked-in value. So if I'm looking at a DeFi project, I'm looking at the total locked-in value versus their market cap. So DeFi Pulse still doesn't list Sushi yet, but according to them, 1.5 billion total locked-in value. I think they've probably gone down now, but let's just assume $1 billion, right? So I look at that, look at the market value. So I like them. Seeing how they were up $11, now they're down to $2. That's my lottery play right now. So I talked about them a few days ago, earlier this week, and people were like, you lost all credibility. Why are you talking about SushiSwap? Hey, right now, I still have a vast majority of my portfolio in Bitcoin. Still have vast majority of my portfolio in a lot of the altcoins, a lot of the favorites that I've been talking about sharing with you guys. And I have a small amount in these ultra small caps as lottery plays, right? I've always recommended that before because if they move up in a big way, it'll carry your portfolio. If they don't and they fall to zero, it doesn't really hurt you. So that's what I'm doing. With some of these DeFi plays that I feel like it's undervalued due to this LM ratio. And in case you guys haven't heard of me talk about LM ratio, I brought it up earlier this week or maybe last week. And LM ratio is the locked-in value versus market cap of the project. So the higher the LM ratio is, the better it is, in my opinion, because it's at least some kind of metric. It's not the end-all, be-all metric, but it's the one that I'm using right now. So if you look at, say, Aave with locked-in value of 1.5 billion, and you look at what they're worth, let's just look it up. They're at 900 million market cap, right? So then you could calculate the LM ratio, right? So the LM ratio would be somewhere like, I don't know, it's 1.6 to 900 million, so almost 2, I guess, right? Something like that, less than 2, like 1.75 or something like that. But the higher it is, I think that's how you could judge some of these DeFi projects. Of course, some of these are just pure scams, pure pump and dump, so that doesn't really equate. But for the legit ones, that's what I'm going by. So in case you guys missed that. I think that's pretty much it. What else? I mean, the overall broader market, the stock market, is trying to recover. So the Dow's up, but you can see NASDAQ is in the red again. Tech sector has been really weak. Ever since 2 days before Labor Day, so Thursday and Friday, and then coming back Tuesday, and then I think you had one good day, like Wednesday was good, yesterday was bad, today is looking like it's bad, right? So the tech sector is really looking like it's bad right now. So that's the thing in the back of my mind right now, because the tech sector is looking weak, and it continues to be weak. I'm wondering if it's going to affect Bitcoin, and it could. Because mostly this happened, right, where Bitcoin just fell down from 12,000 back down to 10,000. It's because of how weak NASDAQ and tech sector got. So that's in the back of my mind. So like I said at the beginning of this stream, let's see what happens this weekend and moving into next week. If Bitcoin continues to follow the tech sector. If it does, we'll have to see what happens with the tech sector, or maybe it doesn't, or maybe it has nothing to do with it. But it's looking like it's somewhat correlated right now. All right, so that's all I had to say for today. I'll turn to you guys for Q&A. Any update on Hot Dog DeFi? I'm pretty sure that project is dead. I read another project yesterday. Some other Yearn Finance kind of spin-off or something like that. YF something. But it raised like $20 million and then they pulled the exit scam too. Like yield farming right now. See, this is the thing. Yield farming is like destroying the DeFi name right now. Okay? And unfortunately, you have like box mining that has shifted all of its attention to yield farming now. Like every single tweet and post is about yield farming. Yield farming is what's really hurting the DeFi space right now, because people have figured out yield farming is what everyone wants to get in, because all these new projects are promising million X returns on interest, and they want you to stake to maximize these like free rewards, and then guess what? They just pull an exit scam. So that's what's happening right now. So any new project that's coming out that's concentrating on yield farming, I would stay away. And unfortunately, it's hurting the DeFi space. You got some legit projects in the space. I've changed my tune on DeFi because I've come to realize that DeFi is ultimately trying to do what Bitcoin was trying to do, which is to disrupt the banks, to take the power away from the banks, and that's what DeFi is. It's early, but ultimately, if it can grow, it could be a good thing, right? But there's too much nonsense going on with yield farming right now, and it's ruining the space. So hopefully, it doesn't continue. Hopefully, people get smart about it and stop risking it and stuff like that. What are your thoughts about NFT? Do you think it's a good investment? Thanks for that super chat. I don't know what NFT is. Let me see. Okay. Very, very, very low market cap. Block party. For collectors, find exclusive authenticated goods certified on Ethereum blockchain. Purchase at asking price or place a bid. Once you own the good, you can resell it to other collectors. It's for selling stuff. Apply to join our global community of digital artists. So tokenization of art, I'm assuming. Interesting. Well, digital art. I don't know. First of all, I'm not an art guy. And second of all, I think collectibles, like things that should be a material version, I would never buy a digital version of it. So that's just me. So first of all, I'm not into art. If I were into art, I would want to buy it and hang it up so I'm in the presence of it. I could look at it. Not only look at it, but like feel it. Feel the presence of it. I've been told if you're next to a Picasso, you could feel the presence of it, right? With digital, you're just not. So I'm not a fan of digitizing things that I think should be physical. Just like a lot of you guys know, I started collecting basketball cards once again. Same thing with cards. They sell digital version of cards. I have absolutely zero interest in digital version of cards. So Panini sells digital versions. They also sell digital versions where you get a physical copy, and the physical copies are worth a lot more, because with cards, again, you can hold it, you can look at it, you can put it in a vault, you can put it in your safe room, you can hang it up, whatever. So it's physical. I don't want a digital blockchain version of that. That's just me. Maybe some of you guys disagree, but with art, me personally, I would never buy digital art. Yeah, but I don't care about shared ownership though. I mean, maybe that's me. If you're buying as an investment, I guess, if you're buying a piece of art that is worth something, I guess that's a use case, but I would not. It's like, what's the point of buying like a small ownership of a Lambo, let's say, since so many of you guys understand this concept. If you want a Lambo, you want it. You want it in your driveway, you want it in your garage, you want to own it, right? What's the point of buying a fractional piece of a Lambo that you can never touch or feel or drive or listen to? You know, if I tokenize my Lambo and said, hey, you could buy 1/100th of it, sure, I want to do that because I'm going to collect a lot of money. But for you guys gain nothing. Unless my Lambo somehow increases in value, then you make money from it, then I understand that. But from anything else, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. What do you consider buying PlayStation or Xbox physical or digital system for video games? You're talking about digital games? No, I've never bought a digital game. It's always physical. Because I don't trust it, first of all. I don't want to wait for it to download, and I don't trust it. You know, what if your hard drive gets corrupted or something? I'm pretty sure you could re-download it, but still, I don't want to go through that. I have a freaking disc. I can always just pop it in, and that's it. So I still buy physical copies. Have you seen Ultra UOS project? They're trying to compete with Steam and Engine. They all partnered up with Theta and AMD. That's an impressive list. Mr. Nulls Deep, I like your new channel, George. I like your honesty about panic selling. I did the same. Yeah, you know, some of you guys noticed I've been promoting my other vlog channel, just under my name, George Tung. You can look it up. But yeah, I make more personal videos there, right? Share more insight, more what I'm feeling, because again, I'm human, right? I feel the same kind of panic sometimes, you know, FOMO and all that stuff. So I'm trying to be more personal on that channel. So if you guys actually enjoy that, then please follow me there. Otherwise, if you just want to see me more concentrate on crypto, then of course just stick with me here. But in case you guys want to check out some of those videos, it's just called George Tung, and I'll link it to the comment of this stream too. So yeah, I've been getting feedback that some people actually like it, right? So I'm glad that some of you guys enjoy it. And I plan on doing some more non-serious stuff on there too. It's just right now there's not a lot of stuff to talk about, but so I'm talking about more like investing kind of stuff, my mistakes and stuff like that. But later on, when COVID dies down and I actually get out and do more stuff, I'll do more like personal but more fun stuff rather than always like scary stuff, I guess. My Tesla news channel is still going too. You can see here, I kind of linked it all on the side here in case you guys want to see any of my other channels. It's slow, but it's progressing. It kind of sucks, honestly. This goes back to my video about being a YouTuber. Most people give up because when you first start a channel, it's very, very slow. Very, very, very slow, right? Basically, YouTube will not help you in terms of promoting your videos. They will not help you with searches. It's up to you to find people to you know, come to your channel and watch. And once they detect you get more consistent viewers that's coming back, then they will help you. But until then, it's a slow grind. So both the Tesla news channel and my own blog channel, very slow, but hopefully they pick up. So it's more like, you know, Crypto Thrust and my drivers only channel, so it's more consistent, let's just say. But it's a work in progress. And by the way, so speaking of my other channel, my drivers only channel, my automotive channel, I do plan on having a live stream tonight. So some of you guys always, you know, you guys like cars, you ask me about cars, and sometimes you ask me here and people get pissed off if you don't want to hear about cars. So I'm going to have a live stream on my drivers only channel tonight at 8 p.m. So if you want to ask me about cars, feel free to come in and ask. So I don't know. I don't expect a big crowd because on drivers only, most people are just, you know, they search for a car, they leave, right? It's not really personal. So I don't know how many people actually show up. So we'll see. Andy says, digitizing art is a silly stretch. Just greed in a space, stretching to invent use cases. Link, ETH, BTC, and maybe DOT as a whole. Everything else is a flip. I agree with the first part. That's why I don't agree with digitizing or tokenizing things, right? These people are looking for ways to, like you said, create use cases. And tokenizing is one of those ways. And you're basically selling a small portion of what you own. It's great because you get free money, basically. But for everyone else that's buying it, it's not so great. You know, there's a lot of projects before that was tokenizing real estate. So I could see that on a grander scale for investment purposes can make sense. But every single project that I reviewed back in 2017, 2018, that was about tokenizing real estate, they've all disappeared. None exist because it's just not a popular concept. Yeah, they're releasing the physical version of the system where you can only download games, and they're making it cheaper. I know that, but they're not digitizing the Xbox system or PlayStation system itself. So maybe in the future they will. They'll just have a warehouse that stores all of it, and you tell them which games you want. They'll download it in for you, and then you can just stream it through your TV. And somehow you can plug in, you know, something that makes your controller works with it. That could happen, but still, there needs to be some kind of physical box somewhere. Quarter Crawler, good morning. Nulls partner with Ren. Interesting. I didn't hear about that. I did cover with that newsletter that I covered about Polkadot. I re-looked at Nulls, by the way, and they have some interesting things going on. I know a lot of people gave up on Nulls, but Nulls is actually really executing. Like, you look at these Generation 3 blockchains, let's just say Polkadot, or you look at EOS, you look at Tron, you look at Cardano, although not done, but Nulls in Generation 3. It could do basically what they all can do already, except Nulls actually have the Nerve network now. Nerve network is pretty interesting. Basically, it's allowing digital assets, basically tokens, to be swapped and talked among different chains, right? So that's pretty good. So Nulls has that. They have the Nerve network. Also, their ELF project, which is digitized storage across different chains too. So Nulls is all about interoperability between different chains, and they're starting to get into DeFi because of these things also help DeFi. So I like that. I like that a lot. So Nulls is very underlooked. People, they're still asking me all the time, what's going on with Nulls? What's going on with Nulls? You know, are you still supporting them? Are you still Nulls deep? Yeah, it's just not moving right now. There's nothing I could do about that. But they're still executing, which is good, which is what you want to see. They're not giving up, and they have a lot of promising thing going for them. It's just, you got to wait. You got to give them time, because once some of these projects do catch on, it's really going to carry Nulls forward. So I'm still Nulls deep. That's for sure. Raise your volume. Is it too low? All right. How about now? Hello. Hello. Hopefully that's a little better. What do you think about VET? VET's year-end price. VET took a step back recently. They were above $1 billion. Now they're $725 million. Where are they gonna be at end of the year? It really depends where the market's gonna be. If Bitcoin climbs back up and let's say hits 12,000 and then 15,000 and 20,000 by year end, if Bitcoin's back at 20,000, then VET will be much higher, right? Possibly 3-4 times higher than where it is now. It really depends on where the market is going, right? So we'll see. Drama, I appreciate that. In your opinion, will we fill that 9,600? I don't know. I've never believed in these gaps, although it just keeps happening. But right now, it seems like Bitcoin and Bitcoin bulls does not want to fill it. We had plenty of opportunities. Last week, Bitcoin went down as low as 9,800, and it did not go down to 9,600. We were only like 200 points away. So it could have filled it. It's like there was like 4 or 5 opportunities for it to do so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 opportunities, and it didn't do so. So this filling the gap thing didn't cause it to fill the gap, and we're now above 10,000 again. So I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna fill it. I think we could fill it. Not because people just want to fill it. It's because of the broader market sells off. So what's going on with the tech sector right now is a little concerning to me because we know that the stock market is too high, right? We've known that for a while. This is the only recession ever in history where the stock market has reached new all-time highs for all indexes. And these tech companies have made so much money over the last 6 months that we know it's kind of like a bubble, right? Like you guys know in crypto, right before a bubble pops, it always climbs the fastest, right? Bitcoin did that really fast, right? Before the bubble popped. Altcoins, Ethereum went up really fast. Every time before a bubble pops, it moves up fast. And during that phase, everyone thinks they can't lose money. That everyone thinks they're a genius because they bought in. There's euphoria everywhere, right? That's how it is with stocks right now, especially with like Tesla, Amazon, Microsoft. You know, it just keeps going up and up and up. And that's why like someone like Dave Portnoy is like, oh, stocks keeps going up forever. And he just revealed he lost $700,000 in one day because it doesn't go up forever. And that's what's concerning right now because I think we may be at that point where the bubble pops and reality hits and the tech sector starts moving down in a big way because it's already at all-time high. So it should take a breather anyways. So if that happens, then I could see Bitcoin falling with it. And then we could fill that 9,600 gap. But then again, with the second round of stimulus checks that may be coming soon and a second round of stimulus package, maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe it gets carried even more, even higher, right? So I don't know. It could go either way. Let's just put it that way. Physical disc worth a lot of money. Look at all the video games that's worth thousands. Yeah. There's just some things, right? Nostalgia or whatever. Things that are collectibles. You want to be physical because you have an emotional thing to it, right? Maybe you grew up with Mario or Atari or whatever, and then you happen to come across one and you're like, oh man, I grew up with that. I played with that when I was growing up. I want it. There's some kind of physical connection to it. You buy a digital game today, in 20 years, you're not going to have any kind of physical connection to it. So that's the thing about digitizing stuff, at least for me. If you're purely using it as investment, then it's a different story, right? You buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin's not physical. I realize that Bitcoin's digital, right? But you're buying Bitcoin to make money from investment perspective. You're not buying it as like, like something that you can hang on the wall or play with or touch or display, right? That's not what Bitcoin is for. Chicago brew. What goes in hand with SHR? No, I don't know. I don't have SHR because I don't know what it is. Share token. Oh, they've been climbing up, fell down drastically. They hit a high of 66 million before. Sharing, empowering individuals. Sharing ID allows individuals to take control over their digital identity. Oh. This sounds a lot like Civic. Yeah, it's like a ID. It's like an ID product. First of all, like this, what they're describing, imagine stepping out the plane and knowing all your travels can be securely booked and managed from your phone. No handing over passport, travel documents, bank cards. There is little chance, I'm going to be real here, okay? There's little chance in hell that the US government would trust Sharering to handle things like passports or travel documents, okay? That'll never happen. Now, the government themselves can invent, you know, like with IDs, now they're real IDs and passports. They can invent a digital version of that, but they're not going to be partnering up with Sharering for that. So this is like a dream, right? But I can see it for other things, okay? For buying things, for example. But no official government ID system will ever be trusted with a third party like Sharering, unless the government actually created Sharering. So let's just be real about that. But there have been others that's been in this space, and I don't hear about them at all anymore. So I'm not a fan of Sharering, unfortunately. I swear you have been promoting this asset. No, I have never promoted Sharering, ever. I never heard of this project until you brought it up before. I buy BTC because I don't like fiat. Well, that's a good reason. That's a good reason. Have you heard UMA? I looked up UMA. Let's bring him back again. Yeah, they're in a DeFi space. Basically, they allow you to build DeFi projects. Protocol for building synthetic assets. You know, there's another project that was like this a long time ago, and I forgot the name of it. But basically, you can create like a contract for basically anything. You know, people mention about the Lakers winning the NBA Finals. You could make an agreement, make a bet with your friend or whoever, saying, "I bet the Lakers will win." Someone else could bet, "I bet the Clippers will win." Right, and you lock in your whatever your asset, Ethereum, and you can have it automatically enforced, and it settles, and there's no way to break it. Right, so it's like creating contracts, and it's very useful for the DeFi space, right? Which is why it has been going up quite a bit. So it's in that space. But you know, they're not the first one. There was another project that was just like this. And I forgot their name, but this was before DeFi was even a thing, and they offered the same thing where you could create your own like rules, like if-then statements, basically for when something executes. But I don't think they're very popular anymore. But yeah, that's what UMA is. They have gone up quite so much. So not too long ago, they were only here. This is when they start calculating market cap. 383 million August 17th. So less than a month ago. So they have tripled in a month. So they have definitely been growing a lot. I only buy Mino. Mino's before my time. I'm not that old. I hope the low roller. So I hope the Lakers win. But yesterday got me scared, man. They were up by 25 points against the Rockets with like 6 minutes left, and they let them come back all the way to 5 points. And if Caruso missed that three, they could have lost that game. That was how bad it is. So I don't like how they just go in cruise control like that. Elf pump 300%. Any thoughts? No, it's just being pumped. Sometimes things get pumped because they're just pumped. That's it. That's simply it. Watching without fans not the same. Yeah, I agree. I wish there was fans. I didn't look up. I didn't watch the Chiefs game, the first NFL game either. So I don't know how that went. A lot of people was talking about it, but I didn't get a chance to watch that. I don't know if there was fans. I think there was fans. I don't know how like how any of these other sports leagues are doing it. The NBA, they're in a bubble, secluded. It minimizes contact from the outside world. But I know baseball's not like that, and football seems like they're not like that too. I just don't know how they're going to prevent spread. The players still go home. They do their own things. They're not forced to stay at any arena or stadium or something. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go. Yeah, Chicago Brew. I've never talked about that, so I don't know who you think brought it up. Yeah, the Raptor and Boston game 7 is today. It'll be interesting because everyone thought Boston would just just win it 5 games, and now they're going to game 7. We'll see what happens. Boston loses, that would be a big hit. No one expects Boston to lose at this point. Everyone thought they would win. So Toronto actually makes it past them. It's a big achievement. Big achievement. I don't know. The Raptors are only doing good because Lowry is doing so good right now, and Van Fleet. Lowry is so interesting because he does horrible at home games and really good at away games. And in the bubble right now, every game is a away game. That's why he's playing like a super all-star right now. But if you look at him before, he would suck at home games for some reason. He's like the only player that's like that. Siakam is not doing good at all. In order for them to actually really do well, they have to. Siakam has to play well. So I don't know. I guess I'm rooting for Toronto because they're an underdog. But if they win, I don't think they're getting past Miami. UMA uses their own oracles. I should research harder. Well, that's interesting. If they use their own oracles. See, at this point, I don't know if a project using their own oracle is actually a good thing or not. I understand that projects don't want to depend on one company, Chainlink, for their oracles, right? I understand that. But it's hard, especially with DeFi. It's very hard to get accurate and robust price data that can't be manipulated or hacked. Because if you don't have that, then the products can be hijacked. There's vulnerabilities and stuff like that. You could manipulate the price data and take advantage of smart contracts and stuff like that. So that's why with DeFi, anything involved with DeFi, it's like you have to have a really, really, really good Oracle system. So if UMA has their own, doesn't mean it's not good, but but I guess you just have to watch out for that, because or Chainlink is proven at this point. There's so many projects that use them, and they have been, people have tried hack them, and they have withstood it. So Chainlink is a proven system. I'm not sure if any of these other Oracle systems are proven at this point. Maddie, I do. Actually, at the end of the stream, I have an important message about XRP. So I know some of you guys are still XRP fans. I have a very important message about them, but you got to wait until the end of this stream. Anything else, guys? Getting to about the hour mark. Zilliqa keeps getting mentioned on social media. I mind a little. Nothing significant that I've heard. I got off the Zilliqa bandwagon for a while, since there are two main leaders left the project, and they're like open source now, so you don't even know who's leading the project anymore. You go to their website and you look up the team, and it's just a bunch of people everywhere. You have no idea who is leading the project. So I got off the Zilliqa bandwagon a long time ago. This week has been really quiet. I think a lot of people are still on vacation or something from Labor Day. But I've noticed in all my videos, on all my channels, just kind of weak this week. Just light. I guess people are just on vacation, or they're still coming back from vacation and getting used to things. I don't know. I do know, if you guys have Amazon Prime, The Boys Season 2, Season 2 came back. And man, I love that show. That show is awesome. If you guys, someone introduced me to it from the live chat. If you guys like superhero stuff, watch it. It's a really dark version of superhero stuff, and it shows if there were superheroes in real life, what it would be like. Like, they could really just do whatever they want and kill people, and no one would know, and that's how it is. So if you guys haven't watched The Boys, you should. But keep in mind, there's a lot of profanity, so don't watch it with your kids and stuff. And there's a lot of gory parts. Polkadot. See, here's the thing about Polkadot. I thought the same thing too. I thought Polkadot is a new project. No. They held the ICO in 2017. So the same as all these other guys. And their ICO went horribly wrong because there was a vulnerability with the Parity wallet that the funds went into. So they actually raised one of the largest amounts in 2017, 150 million. And 100 million of that was lost due to vulnerability. So they actually did a second ICO recently. But they've been around for a while. It's just really no one is paying attention. I haven't heard of them. I thought they were just like a new project, but no, they've been around for a while. Polkadot actually looks really interesting. What they're doing, again, led by a co-founder of Ethereum, Gavin Wood. And Gavin Wood, I think Wood, not Woods, but he is a brilliant guy. He wrote Solidity. He's the main guy that wrote the programming language Solidity on Ethereum, and he also wrote the yellow paper on Ethereum Virtual Machine. So he knows what he's doing, right? So he made a lot of changes. Ethereum 2.0, in fact, is doing what Polkadot is doing, and it's already out. So we'll see. I like Polkadot a lot. But some of these other ones, like Elron you mentioned, is relatively new. They're promising. I like their leadership, because they're investors of Binance. So they have a strong relationship with Binance. I like that. EOS has done absolutely nothing. I have a friend that is more of a EOS fan, or EOS. I still think it sounds better EOS, but I guess it's called EOS. But I've been hearing from him that supposedly they held off on any kind of marketing for for a year on purpose, so they're about to mass market soon. I'm not sure if that really helps anything because they still have the problem with governance and collusion with their block producers. They still haven't solved any of that, so I don't know if that's going to get any better. That's why they've been falling on CMC quite a bit. And Cardano, people are still waiting for it to finish. Charles is really well respected in the community, but people only have so much patience. So people are still waiting for Cardano to finish, which probably won't happen until second half of 2021 and maybe first half. But again, you have projects like Polkadot that's already out, EOS that's already out, Tron that's out. I haven't covered Tron a lot recently, but Tron has been making moves too. So all these projects are already out. So I don't know, once Cardano gets finished, I don't know how much traction they can really garner because you have like a dozen other projects that's already out there. So hopefully that answered your question, Chris. Yes, beta for voice is out there, but no one uses it. I mean, it's a closed beta, so you only have like 5 people that's posting. So this is voice. It's a very simple, it's supposed to be a Facebook killer, but it doesn't look like a Facebook killer. It looks more like, I don't know what it looks like. But you just have right now, you have a random bunch of articles. I guess it's more like a Reddit, I guess. But yeah, so this is, if you look at the posters, they all, I don't know if they work for EOS or they found some contributors, but it's like a dozen people. That's pretty much all the same people. And they're posting random stuff. So it's not an open beta. I wish it was an open beta, but it's not. Or maybe they did change it to open beta. Let's see. Request early access. Yeah, so you can request it. It's not open yet. But I haven't heard anything about voice either. So, I mean, they're not really promoting anything. So maybe they will soon. The thing about Ethereum, though, even though they're really, really behind right now, they still have the largest development base. The number of developers that's working on a project, Ethereum still leads by far. And same thing with their dev tools. I hear, I'm not a programmer, but I always hear about people say all the established dev tools is the best on Ethereum. So despite the fact they can't scale right now, they still have a lot going for them. So maybe eventually when they move to Ethereum 2.0, they can still lead the space. And let's not forget all the DeFi that's going on right now, right? All these DeFi projects, they're all on Ethereum. Look at every single one. There are DeFi projects on other chains, but they're not very popular. They're not very popular at all. All the very popular ones are on Ethereum. So again, they have that going for them too. So Ethereum has a lot going for it. And that's why Ethereum actually, if you look at their price, Ethereum has been moving pretty well. Has been going up faster than Bitcoin, mostly because of DeFi, because all these lending and DEXs and all these things in DeFi, they all use ETH, so it makes sense that they go up. But congestion is a real thing, and network cost is sky high, so that's the downside to it. What are your rough predictions for Chainlink in the future? I still think Chainlink, they're still the biggest player in game, essentially the only player in game, so I still think they have a lot going for them. The way they were going was was crazy. Like we all wanted Chainlink to keep going up and up and up and up, but now it's finally settled down. But even after settling down, it's still number 5. It's still, is 6 billion away from XRP, which I think could happen in the near future. So if the market continues to go up and everything continues to do well, I think Chainlink will come back up really, really fast. But recently, with this recent dip of the market, we've seen it kind of settle where it is now. So it might be where it is now for a little bit. But I still like them. And I still like Band too, because they're the second biggest Oracle play. Kind of a long shot. They're like nowhere closer to Chainlink. But if someone was to compete with Chainlink, if there was a project to compete with Chainlink, it would be Band. So, and they hooked up with Tron, which is a big deal, and also Icon. So I like Band as well as like a second player. I don't think anything about Kyber. I know people have me Kyber. I don't have any thoughts on Kyber. It's there, it works, but I'm not excited about it. All right, that's it, guys. Yeah, Self-Key is another one, Pedro. Yeah, there's a lot of ID services things out there. I was thinking of Civic, but Self-Key is one of them, and now this other SafeKey or whatever, this other one I looked at. Anyways, that's it. This has been a long session. I rambled on a lot, but I tend to do that in my live sessions because it's just fun. It's Friday. No one wants to work, right? I get it. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Bitcoin this week, this weekend, and next week. I'm a little concerned because Bitcoin is kind of tied with the tech sector right now, and I'm concerned about the tech sector. See, as I've been streaming, it just keeps going lower, lower, lower. This tech sector is getting really weak. It could be that a tech sector bubble is now popping, and this could go down much, much further. And if it does, it's going to affect Bitcoin and crypto, I believe. But we'll see. Maybe not. Maybe it'll recover right back up next week, and there's no concerns at all. All right. Just so you guys know, some of you guys like cars, and if you want to join into my live session tonight, it'll be on my Drivers Only channel. But please, only talk about cars, no crypto on there. I don't want to scare everyone else that joins. So that'll be at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time tonight. All right, guys, have a good weekend, and I'll see you guys later. All right, take care. Bye-bye. Oh, I forgot. Important message about XRP. I promised I was going to play it. So those of you guys that are XRP fans, listen up.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.